What's up, guys? So today we've got the coilovers. Today we've got the coilover install happening. It is a great day. It's like December 12th right now. It's like 10 degrees outside. Can't see my breath for a change. So I'm gonna try and rack out a coilover install and bring you guys along. Gonna try and do it like in under 2 hours, which is a lot of time for coilovers, especially on a Miata, but I gotta film it, gotta worry about other stuff. So I'm gonna move the car, get it into position, and then we'll start doing the install and we'll get to filming. So let's do it. So first off, I'm wearing gloves today because I work an office job and people look at me really strange when I have like dirt caked under my fingernails. So I'm gonna wear some gloves today and give that a shot. See if it keeps the hands clean. Let's see if this starts. So we got the car in position. I'm gonna go ahead and start unboxing the coilovers, setting everything out, making sure everything looks good before we start installing, and let's get to work. Alright guys, so you're going to want to throw the car in the air, obviously. Take your lug nuts off and pull the wheels off and move on to the next step, which is anti-seizing and kind of rust-proofing the threads. So I've already got one shock out just for kind of representation's sake. So this is just a Teen S-Tech lowering spring and a KYB AGX shock, and then here's the coilover. So as you can see, rings, adjustability, threads, all that kind of stuff. Because you have the adjustability, you want to be able to because you have the adjustability, there's threads in there and you want those to stay clean and not rusted up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the shocks kind of apart, the perches off, or the lower thread part off. I'm going to load that up with anti-seize and hope to God that they don't get filled with rust and water. So that's going to be my first step. So first off, you want to remove the tire, and that exposes everything here. So that's what we want to take out. I'm going to go ahead and start removing some of this stuff. So one thing that's nice to have is an electric impact. So first off, we're going to remove the lower bolt, which is a 17 mil. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to remove the sway bar end link. There. So that's a 14 mil for the end link. So you're going to want to just pop this lower nut off. So that will allow you to God, Miatas are so small. There's no room in the fenders. There you go. That should pop off with a little bit of force. Nice. Oh, first one and I'm already tired. Let's get stuck. Don't get stuck. That's what you want off. Set it aside. So now you've got movement with your sway bar. Now we're gonna get this guy off. This lower bolt. Alright. After a little bit of coercing, is that the right word? Bribing it with lubricant. Just gotta wiggle it free. Wow, this one really was a pain in the ass. Now we need to get this castle nut off so we can pop the upper control arm from the hub. There's a little cotter pin up top, you can see there. So we're gonna need to pull that out and get access to the nut. So just grab some pliers, give it a wiggle. Should come out. Ooh. Came out, don't worry. Now, we're gonna need a 17 mil which I don't have. Okay, so you want to be loosening. Nice. So you want to put that on there, loosen it up. It's coming, it's coming. Put that aside. So now we're gonna need to take our little ball joint puller. You can try hitting it with something like this. Just be careful of your ball joint not to damage it. That probably will never work, especially when you're dealing with a 27-year-old car. You put this where the ball joint sits if you've never used one of these. And as you tighten it, it puts pressure on the stud. And it is terrifying when it lets go. It scares the shit out of me every time. So you just want to pop that in there. So it doesn't matter how many times I do this. Oh, it's probably gonna scare me. And it just explodes and everything falls apart, and this will come off of here, and I'll be a little like that. Okay, and there you have it. We've got our loose hub and our upper control arm and the shock body. So now we just need to go up top and loosen up the nuts. Gotta loosen up those nuts. So you just come up top here. Obviously your shock is sitting in the engine bay, the top hat, so you just want to loosen it up. I've got some stuff here that's kind of in the way. Don't mind that. It's loose up top. We can go underneath again and try and wiggle it out. No matter what you do, it's still tight getting the shock out of the car. I'm just gonna put my knee on here. There's probably an easier way to do this, but I just don't feel like doing it the easier way because I'm stubborn. And it works. So push down and it comes out. So there's our old one. We can go ahead and install the other ones, and we'll see if that goes in a little bit easier. Oh, don't want that to spill. Now we're going to install the new shock. Same kind of concept. It's actually kind of trickier with the flares because it cuts off. It kind of increases the distance. What am I trying to say? It makes it harder to go in because you have more stuff to get around and get caught in and whatnot. But the tricky part, no, it wasn't very tricky. So that should just pop in like that. That is sitting in place. Now I can go ahead and install the new nuts on the top. Okay, so Yonaka was nice enough to include the top hat hardware. So we're gonna go ahead and grab 2 new nuts. So we're just going to install the nuts onto the top hat. So I don't know if you can see that here, but the back of this ring actually, there's a circle and it makes contact if it goes too low. What I was worried about is with suspension flex and whatnot, I didn't want that to make contact. So what I did was basically I raised the car more so that we've got a little bit of room, and then that's gonna be my baseline. And then depending on how high or how low it is, I'll adjust it. But for installation's sake, just get it to a point where it fits. And then go from there. You don't, like, the one thing that you want to be careful of is you don't want to tighten these to bring this up, because then that messes with your spring preload. So these are all factory set and everything. You should have a couple mil of spring preload, and you don't adjust this for height. You want to adjust the bottom for your height. Just thought I'd bring that up in case anybody is using this for an install video. That might be a problem, so just look out for that. Okay, so this side is done. So basically for the reinstallation, all you want to do is repeat what you just undid. So start with your castle nut, put the hub back into the upper control arm, tighten that down, then move on to your shock. So slide it into the bottom perch here, thread that in, get your sway bar hooked up, make sure everything's tight, make sure the top's tight, set your height, preload, everything like that is good. So now we can move on to the other side, which I already showed you here, so it's just the same, just mirrored. And then we're gonna move on to the rear, and then you can drop it and have some fun.
Goodness gracious, damn that booty so spacious. I said goodness gracious, my bitch athletic, so I pull up in the aces. Goodness gracious, posted with your bitch on a regular basis. Goodness gracious, pipe the hippie bitch, now it's back to the basics. Yeah, it's back to them basic bitches, man. You know the girls with the coffee, the pumpkin spice. I mean, it's a little steamer. Might as well bring the goddamn coffee cream. In my toes makes me crinkle my nose. You always know gravy with them hoes. Whoa. Bitch, please, pull up with the steez. Pull up in the Honda on G's. Bitch, bullin' in the club, I'ma pull up on a thotty. Booty real thick, got the oatmeal body. Smooth like Chris, that's my down south shawty. And she pull up to the club in the all-white Audi. If you tryna hate, you a sucker, bitch. I cover up the booty with the smuckers, bitch. Didn't have to ask why your girl's so sticky. Gravy laid a pipe every time you see a thickie. Boy looking like a mouse just like Mickey. And your bitch coming through for the lunchtime quickie. God damn, bitch, that's ruthless. Wonder why your flex so fruitless. Gotta ask Gravy how your bitch got the looseness. Can't brush your teeth when your face straight.
This one is much easier and will honestly go by in less than like 15 minutes. So first, you're gonna want to take this top upper control arm off. Actually, I'm gonna take the end link off. Ow! So just to give you guys a little bit of a better idea. So there you've got your end link. Ooh, I just dropped the light. Sway bar end link. I dropped it again. Struggling with this light, it's killing me. Jeez. To place a jack underneath your hub, put a little bit of pressure on it, and then guaranteed this will just pop straight out. So now take off that bottom bolt. I'm gonna release the tension I have on there. There we go. Now we just have this guy to worry about, which I might actually put some more tension. This might fling out. Just a word of caution. There you go. You're gonna want to take out your spare tire. And then likewise for this side, you're just gonna want to take off that metal shield. A nut here and a nut there. Take those off and your shock should basically fall out. And in the other nut, and you're going to want to just thread it into the hole. Then with your other hand, put it on. And these up, they don't need to be like Hulk tight. Just like German torque specs, you know, Guden tight. Shout out to my friend Gunter. He loves the mountains. When I'm putting this together, I'm just gonna apply a little bit of tension, bring the bottom control arm up. It just kind of helps everything sit into place. All right, so everything's nice and tight. We got our upper control arm tightened up, the bottom of the shock, the sway bar end link. I think we're good to throw the wheel on and lower the car down and see how it sits and potentially take it for a drive. No! Let's let the car settle a little bit. It's going to take a little bit for the suspension to settle, so I'm probably not going to get a good idea of how the car sits right now, but at first glance, front is a little low, rear is a little high, so we're going to have to play with that a little bit. It's a much stiffer setup than the old setup I had. I'm sure we'll get a really good idea of how the car feels when we get it on the road, so let's go for a drive.
A few moments later.
Alright guys, so after a quick drive, I'm really happy with the result. They feel phenomenal. Like compared to the old setup, they're a lot stiffer. Honestly, it's hard to compare the two because one is very much so like track inspired and the other is just like stiff and raw. And honestly, the Yonaka setup, it feels really good. It's how I like my suspension. Stiff, tight, there's not a lot of body roll. The car, I don't know. I'm just really happy with how they feel. Everything feels great. I still have a front sway bar to throw on, so I'm really looking forward to how this car transforms and feels on the pavement. And absolutely, I think 100% these coilovers are worth it. I will give a better review once I'm into the autocross season and it's not December out. But I will say that I'm quite thankful for the weather right now in December. As for difficulty, this is super easy. I would say like 2 beers job minimum, maximum. 2 beer job maximum. You've got 3 bolts, the rear you've got 3 bolts. Super easy, pull it off, put it on, go and get an alignment. Do not do this without an alignment. Once you get your height adjusted, your toe, your camber, everything's gonna be out of whack. So make sure you go and invest in an alignment. It'll save your tires. The car will transform 100% after that as well. The steering feel, it'll be great. It's gonna be huge. just gonna shut the car off. So, like I said, I love the product. It feels amazing. It is a great price. Honestly, I purchased them out of my own pocket because I really wanted to see how the quality was, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And Yonaka was kind enough to send me a banner, to send me a hat, to send me t-shirts. They're a great company. Steve has been an awesome contact there. Their customer service is phenomenal, and honestly, I don't have anything bad to say about the guys. The radiator, awesome. The exhaust that I had, awesome. And the coilovers, it's up to par with the other quality. It's great. I had no issues. It feels great. Honestly, I can't say anything bad about these guys. If you guys like the install video, if you like the coilovers, or you're interested in any kind of products, feel free to check out Yonaka below. I'll have links to the website and where I purchased this stuff from. Remember guys, install your stuff, have fun with it, enjoy your car, and just treat it like you stole it. Alright guys, have a good night. Thanks for watching. Peace!
Gracious. Posted with your bitch on a regular basis. Goodness gracious. Pipe the hippie bitch, now it's back to the basics.